Hi, welcome to another lesson on IELTS Academic. Today we are going to talk about the speaking module. In this module, we will cover the strategy to how to approach the questions in this interview and all the parts of the speaking interview. Let's get right into it. Speaking is going to be a 12 to 15 minutes long process. 10 minute के अंदर ये खत्म हो जाता है. Max to max it goes till 15 minutes from the starting. इसमें 3 पार्ट्स होते हैं. पहला पार्ट में आपसे जनरल क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं आपके बारे में. Very easy things that you can answer on your own very easily, and you can just simply try to like add some of your experiences in 1 to 2 lines, and you're done. It goes on for about 3 to 5 minutes. Very easily done, nicely done. एंड उसके बाद आप आते हो सेकेंड पार्ट में, जो कि सबसे ज्यादा स्कोरिंग एंड इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट होता है आपका आइल्स स्पीकिंग में, जहाँ पे आपके पास एक क्वेश्चन आपको दिया जाएगा 1 मिनट के लिए और आपको उसके ऊपर 2 मिनट तक रिस्पॉन्ड करना होगा. एंड यू बी scored based on your fluency, pronunciation, vocab, and your grammar. And part 3 will be a next discussion with the examiner on abstract ideas based on the cue card topic. Let's talk about these in detail. Part 1 is the warm-up round. Basically, it is scored, however, but not that heavily as that of the second and third part. But still, we should be careful with this one. Remember, as soon as you walk into the interview room, your interviewer starts to assess you. Starting from you asking for the entry in the interview room till like the way you are dressing up, your hand gestures, your body language, and your eye contact, your greetings, everything will add up to your conversational skills. तो हमें ध्यान रखना होता है कि we are dressed up a little in a academic manner. Neat and clean हमारा attire होना चाहिए. We should be a little bit presentable. We should look maybe like a professional or a student. And we shouldn't be too funky, right? It shouldn't look like we are careless about our appearance or like the way we are carrying ourselves, because it is also a part of conversational skills. So with that out of the way, Part 1 will be about simple questions on general ideas, जहाँ पर आपसे इंटरव्यूअर क्वेश्चन पूछेगा जिसकी आप आंसर्स 2 से 3 सेंटेंसेस में दे सकते हो. Basically, these questions will be the ones that you can answer in one word or one line, but make sure that you add a reason or every question here, जिससे आपका answer up to 2 to 3 sentences long to ho hi jaye, because we need to give them some content, right? They are there not to know what you actually think about this, but how well can you explain things, right? तो उन्हें केवल इसी बात पे आपको असेस करना है कि आप कितने आराम से और बोल पाते हो, लैंग्वेज को यूज कितने अच्छे से कर पा रहे हो स्पीकिंग टर्म्स में. So make sure that you give them content so they can assess you. You give them good grammatical structures, you give them good vocabulary in the right context, and you give them good fluency, good confidence, good way of articulation, like good way of delivering your thoughts. That's called articulations, right? So that is about part 1. One example of part 1 questions can be, it will start with, let's talk about holidays to start this interview. Is it important to have holidays? You say yes. And that will not give you good scores. That might not get you any scores in this part. You will have to add a reason why. Similarly, यहाँ पर 3 से 5 questions आपसे पूछे जाएंगे. Mostly it is 3 to 4, but you can even expect 5 questions. If your answers like are short, they might want to give you some more content to speak about. It goes on only for 3 to 5 minutes, right? Next, once you're done with the part 1, they will give you part 2. That is called cue card. यहाँ पर आपको इस type का question जो आप screen पर देख पा रहे हो, they will give you this, like this one, and it will be in front of you for 1 whole minute. आपके पास एक pen and paper होगा जिसमें आप अपने notes बना सकते हो, and after 1 minute they will take the question paper away from you, right? And यहाँ पर आप question के बिना अपने notes पर depend होके आपको 2 मिनट तक अपना response बनाना पड़ता है. One tip here, one expert tip here is to keep things not so serious. Keep things light and choose topics that you're comfortable to talk about, the things that you feel good talking about. Like, for example, अगर यहाँ पर advice की बात हो रही है, describe a piece of advice that you recently received. we shouldn't talk about some like really heated conversation जहाँ पर एक advice आपको मिली थी and it may or may not be right, right? Talk about something that is light and you can easily talk about this, because when you talk about serious things, it may hamper your confidence, like kind of shake your confidence, and it will affect your fluency, and you may also make grammatical errors. So overall, it's a bad thing to do. So make sure that you are taking things that you're comfortable, quite comfortable to talk about. Like even have a laugh in between of your cue card response. It's even better. Use some phrases, use good structures, use different timelines, right? Like if it wouldn't have happened, this might have happened, and all sort of things. So give them more and more content. Use the language in whichever way that you can. Like this is not so easy. Like don't you keep using simple tense, simple tense, simple tense. Use a little bit of complex ones as well, right? After 2 minutes, let's say like there's a way of making notes while you're making the notes for cue card. So it kind of goes like this, that if it says, so it's like if you have a copy, right, and a pen, then whatever you are going to write, you write is in between of the topic, right? Topic. And then you answer the first question here. Like you kind of write some topics that can like make you recall your explanation. So the first answer should be answered here. First question should be answered here. Second question should be answered here. Third and fourth and so on. And explanation in between. उनके लिए भी आप थोड़े थोड़े tweaks यहाँ पर लिखते जाओगे. And you can follow on one direction to follow. Like okay, I'll start from here and I'll end here. So you don't have to think like मैंने क्या क्या cover किया क्या क्या नहीं किया है. And make it a habit to use this kind of mind map and use it in one direction, so you can very easily, without thinking, follow this mind map to explain things and make your response much more structured, much more effortless. And you also don't have to like think in between, like what else do I add, what else do I add, so things like that, right? So this is something like a mind map, like this, like a topic, question number one, answer to question number one, answer to question number two, answer to question number three, four, five, and so on. If any explanation you want to add, you can make further arrows on any topic that you want to explain and write some things about here, so you can like follow like this, like cover everything on one arrow before you move on to the next one, and cover everything on next arrow before you move on to the last one. And make sure that you are indicating like, okay, so this one thing that I would like to explain about, one advice piece of advice that I like to explain about here is the one that I got when I was talking to my sister earlier this week in the morning, during the morning tea, and we were talking about health and diet and this and that. And the like, so our question says, "Who gave you this advice?" So I told you my sister gave me that advice. What the advice was about? So it was about health and diet. I have added this, right? उसके बाद आपका next जो question है उसको भी अब एक बार like without saying that I'm going to answer next question now, just add it on like one more information about your cue card, and then you keep carrying on like that. And that's how you end with the how you feel about the advice. And do you think it was a good advice? Do you think it was a bad advice? Do you think it was efficient? For whatever reason you want to add in the end. So that's the conclusion for your cue card time. And that's how you make this thing like effortless and fluent and well structured. Let's get back to our cue card, right? So if you recall this cue card again, it says like when this happened, who gave you the advice, what the advice was, and explain how you felt. But it is starting with an overview, like what happened, how it happened, when it happened, and then who was involved, and then what was the incident, and lastly, how did you feel about it? Like what was the conclusion? So it is kind of like a short story that you have to make. Now, part three, after for responding for 2 minutes, you will keep on speaking and speaking and speaking, and then you feel like you have been speaking for so long. I think it has been like maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes, but keep speaking until the interviewer stops you. क्योंकि interviewer आपको 2 मिनट के बाद पक्का stop कर देगा, because unless they find your answer really interesting. Otherwise, they will always, like in 99% of the times, they stop you after 2 minutes. And because they have a timeline to follow, they have a lot of students waiting in like the waiting area, so they also have to keep follow a strict timeline to complete all those thoughts in the given time. So 2 minutes is the time they are given for your response. So, and as they listen to you for the cue card response for the 2 minutes, they'll be making their notes, right? And you have to make sure कि आप उन्हें do not let it make you nervous. Like, okay, did I make a mistake? क्या लिखा उन्होंने अभी? Uh, so do not let it. Don't be judgmental about this. They might be writing that like your vocab is good, your intonation is good, your body language is good, or something like that, right? Your grammar didn't like made no errors, or they may be writing a few similar some silly mistakes that they have noticed. It doesn't really matter, right? Ignore them noting this down. Never try to look in their notes. Never. Whenever you don't understand the question when they're asking you, make sure you ask them कि repeat कर दो एक बार हमें समझ नहीं आया. It is all right. It is all right to do, right? So there's no negative marking for you asking them to repeat the question. However, you shouldn't do it for each and every question. But आप बोल सकते हो अगर समझ नहीं आ रहा, then you can ask them like, could you please rephrase this for me? Or you can say, can you repeat the question for me, please? Or if you need some time to think about the question, you can say, that's an interesting question. Let me think about it for a moment. Then you think, and then you start, right? So one more thing you can do here is to like अपने question को ही refer करो फिर से like describe a piece of advice you recently received. And interviewer after 1 minute of time is like, okay, now you shall start responding. And you're like, whoa, do I start now? So when that happened, you can just simply restate your question. It's like a piece of advice that I recently received was the one I got from my sister, and then you carry on with your cue card, right? So you can always do it. It's a nice thing to do. Like give your answer a good start, and that should seem well structured. Right, very nice. Now, after 2 minutes are done, they have stopped you. थर्ड पार्ट की बात हो रही है. Now there will be follow up rounds about the cue card topic. तो अभी हमने advice की अगर बात करी थी, then they'll be talking about advices for the follow up. So the questions can be like, what kind of people do you think give the best advice? Friends, family, professional? Again, keep your answers light and fun to tell, and do not be serious here. Not at all, not recommended. So just try to give the good answer for this based on your opinions. Keep your tone neutral. Don't be too excited about it. Don't be sad about it, right? Be neutral about it. Unbiased answer based on whatever you think. And just also remember that your answers should be centered on the central topic of the cue card. ऐसा नहीं है कि उन्होंने आपसे बोला है कि best advice कौन देता है. Then you start talking about your sister, right? Like if you talked about your sister in the cue card, like I did, तो हमें family को ही यहाँ पर आंसर में रखना होगा. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. You can have your answers, whatever you think is right. They can be unrelated. Make sure that you are still talking about the best advices, right? Based in the context of the question. तो क्वेश्चन पे ध्यान देना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. अगर आपने सही से आंसर नहीं किया, लाइक यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन येट, यू आर लाइक, अगर मैंने पूछा दोबारा से तो हो सकता है कि उसे लगे कि मेरी लिसनिंग स्किल्स खराब हैं, एंड देन दे माइट डिडक्ट सम ऑफ माई मार्क्स फॉर इट. नो, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. Understandability is very very important. It is also a part of a communication skill. तो अगर आप ढंग से सुन के आंसर दे रहे हो, it is in any case a good thing to do, right? Be careful about what the question actually means. Think about the question. Ask them to repeat if you don't understand the question, right? Make sure that you understand the question correctly and then you start your answer. कभी भी आपको straight up spontaneously start करने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है. आपको केवल तब करना है स्टार्ट जब आपको लगे कि आप रेडी हो. एंड यू विल बी रेडी विद इन अ फ्यू सेकेंड्स आफ्टर सम ऑफ द प्रैक्टिस सेशंस ऑफ स्पीकिंग इंटरव्यू. ठीक है, आप मेरे साथ एक बार प्रैक्टिस सेशन करोगे, एंड देन यू विल फेस सम स्ट्रगल्स. फिर उसके बाद हम उन्हें एड्रेस करेंगे, हम उन पर काम करेंगे, एंड देन वील डू वन मोर. यू विल फेस लेसर स्ट्रगल्स और मे बी सम न्यू स्ट्रगल्स, हम उन्हें एड्रेस करेंगे, एंड देन आफ्टर सम टाइम, आफ्टर 6 or 7 इंटरव्यूज, यू विल गेट यूज्ड टू इट. ठीक है, तो आपका जो आंसर रिस्पॉन्स टाइम जो होगा, लाइक रिस्पॉन्स मेकिंग टाइम होगा, वो भी बहुत कम होता जाएगा. एंड यू विल ऑलरेडी नो कि लाइक अच्छा इसके बाद ये चीज आने वाली है, सो आई शुड एक्ट इन दिस मैनर. and you'll be ready for it, right? With the correct tips and guidance, you can correct this very easily. So make sure that you are consistent with your practice. That's really, really important, right? And that's all about it. One more thing about part 3 is कि आपको वहां पे क्रॉस क्वेश्चनिंग भी हो सकती है, राइट? दे मे थिंक लाइक ओके, डोंट यू थिंक कि ऐसा ऐसा भी हो सकता है, बट देन you'll be like, did I say something wrong? Did I answer wrong? There is no wrong answer here. वो केवल आपको क्रॉस क्वेश्चन करके ये देखना चाहते हैं कि आप काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट्स को कैसे हैंडल कर रहे हो. They don't want to know like what actually is the right thing based on all the information about the given topic. No, आप कंटेंट के ऊपर आपकी स्कोरिंग होती ही नहीं है. यू कैन आंसर एनीथिंग दैट यू वांट अबाउट स्पीकिंग, राइट? योर opinions, your explanations don't matter. The way you deliver them matters, right? आपकी grammatical accuracy, आपका तो बताने का तरीका, आपकी vocab, आपकी fluency और pronunciation, इन चीजों पे आपके स्कोर डिपेंड करते हैं. If you say like I don't like living on Earth, I'd rather stay on Mars, डोंट थिंक कि आपके मार्क्स इस चीज पे कटेंगे. अगर क्वेश्चन के लिए ये सही आंसर है, लाइक इट इज वन ऑफ द प्रोबेबल आंसर्स, देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग विद सम आंसर लाइक दैट. दैट्स like not usual. You don't have to be accurate, you just have to be using English correctly. Okay, it's quite important. And do not think that it's a test of your general knowledge or something. Not at all. It's just a test of English language. आप अपना normally बना के भी answer दोगे, like it's made up situations or something that is not actually right that you have said. It will not deduct. It will not impact badly on your scores. Don't worry about it. But make sure कि जितना भी आप बोल रहे हो, जितना भी आंसर आप दे रहे हो, वो relevant होने चाहिए, सही तरीके से बोले हुए होने चाहिए, राइट? योर इंटोनेशन शुड बी न्यूट्रल, योर आंसर्स should sound unbiased, right? Or like they have to be on topic, and they should not be too lengthy or too short. यहाँ पर लास्ट पार्ट में आपको लगभग 3 से 4 sentences लंबे आंसर्स देने चाहिए, a little lengthier than the part 1 but not as lengthy as part 2, right? तो यहाँ पर आप थोड़े से लंबे देते हो, but not very very lengthy. Like 2 minute response is not needed here. 30 seconds, 25 to 30 seconds is enough for each question. तो अगर मैंने आपसे पूछा what kind of people do you think give the best advice, friends, family, professional, you can say, well, I think all of them can give good advice based on whatever context I am looking for the advice. If I am talking about something that's personal to me, something that requires my personality to be taken into account to give me the good advice, then I would refer to my friend, family. But if it is something that I need to think a little out of the box, maybe things that I have only shared with my friends or they have more exposure about it, then I will refer to the friends. And if it is something much more concrete and I need a professional's advice on it, then I will either talk to my colleagues if it is based on related to my office or my professional work, or if it is something that I can seek help of some other professional, then I would definitely reach them. So I think it differs from situation to situation. Right? So that was like kind of like a 4 sentence long answer. And this is the length that you should keep for part 3. I hope that makes sense to you for every question, right? Not too short, not too lengthy, somewhat lengthy. Okay. And that's about it for speaking. I hope you understood. And for your homework, I want you to create a 2-minute recording of this cue card and make notes in the manner I told you. Try it if it works for you. See, it works for many people. If it works for you, well and good. If it doesn't, we can try other things, right? Or you can do it your way. It's your test, though. In any case, do try to make this recording, even if you want to take like several takes to make this 2-minute recording. Do it, and then you can send it to me, and we will talk more about it. Good job today. That's all from my side. See you in the next one.